We probably can't do that. Alright. No. Damn it, Josh.
Mate, I told you I joke around a bit.
G'day guys, Chris here from Vo-Gus Process. G'day guys, Chris here from Vo-Gus Prospecting. I summoned Josh from the ether to come out prospecting. Now, it's interesting that almost everywhere you go on this planet, someone else has been there before you, especially a man with a beer, because you always find beer cans out there when you're out in the middle of nowhere. But it doesn't mean that you can't go out there and do a little bit of research and do some rediscovering of areas that have been worked before. And this is some of the things that I've been doing recently. I've been going to old mine sites and going to old areas. In my research, I came across a name. When I researched this name, I discovered that they found gold on this creek in 1934, which is about 30 years after all the major gold rushes ended in my area. So we're out here today to see if they left us anything. Now we're lucky. We literally just got to pull in, and the creek's right here. They found a reef system that went for, according to the newspapers, it went for many kilometers, is what they said, with sporadic gold reefing along it. I don't really care about the reef because they probably sucked all that out. What I care about is what shed off the reef and what they left us. If we look at this creek from where that bridge is, you can see it's a nice big long straight, and then it comes and turns on this inside bend here. Now most people, as you can see over here actually, someone's had to scrounge around at some point. And they've dug on the inside bend. Now, that's all well and good. Inside bends are low pressure points, but let's use our noodles here. This is a straight. Even though it's turned here, there's still river rock on a high bench deposit. So theoretically speaking, no one has worked this area, and when the river is in flood, the water's coming over and depositing gold on this bench. So what we're going to do is start digging down just sort of on the edge of it. There was some nice light gravels just in here. We're going to dig down, see if we can't find bedrock or clay, and see what the spec count does. I've already found one tiny little micro dot of gold in my first pan, so it bodes well. And if we get a high enough spec count, we'll run the river sluice. The overburden has proved to have a little bit of gold in it, but not as much, or nothing really worth working or talking about. We're trying to dig down deeper to try and find some clay, because we know that's where the gold's going to be. You're not even going to be able to see what I just panned off on camera. There are 3 nano dots just there, and that's not good enough, but it's 3 more dots than I had, so I've got to dig deeper and try and find some mud. We have a little bit of progress. My hole's getting deeper, and the tip of my shovel is just barely touching some sort of orangey, slightly stickier sand. It's not clay, it's not mud, it's just slightly stickier. But the orange usually means it's got ironstone or something similar that's rusting out in it. And it's starting to produce a little bit of gold. Very small, very fine gold at this stage, but we're still only scraping the overburden really. Josh has also found a speck of gold over here in the dry. So it means our theory is right, that it's dropping gold on this high bench deposit. Now the question is how deep. So I'm still getting micro dots of gold, but this shovel in particular just came up with clay, with actual clay. So this is where it's going to, this is where we're going to start to find out. It might not be in this pan, but the next pan probably, if I don't have a bank cave in, will tell me what kind of gold we can expect out of here. Oh, there's got to be gold in that. You would think so. But there isn't. Even though that looked really good, I got 1 nano dot. have officially decided to run the river sluice. Now, it's not because we're getting great gold, but what I want to do is move volume of dirt out of the way to try and get down to a clay layer or bedrock and see what's on that. And doing it by pan is very slow, and I know there's gold in all the overburden, but not much. So we might as well collect all that fine gold in every pan in a river sluice while we try and find the bedrock. Sluice is set up, absolutely screaming along, but I want it to do that because I want to try and get it to move some of the rocks without me having to use a bloody sieve over there. That's just me being lazy. I hope it works, might not, let's find out. I've run about 30 shovels out of that hole through here, and my pan can take roughly 2 full shovelfuls, so that's 15 pans worth of dirt that's gone through it. So we're going to rip it out and clean it up and see what's hiding in there. It could be a yellow rock, like I said before, but that and that looks ominously like gold. I don't know. It might be fool's gold. Ah, fool's gold. Concentrates of 30 shovels or 15 pans. And yes, I'm panning into a river. Very bold of me, I know. Alright, here we go. Not a ton of black sand, but a little bit more than I pull out in some of my other spots. It's all about learning though, isn't it? Yeah, there's some gold. One there. I actually pulled out a couple of little slightly bigger flakes in all of that, but not much. There we go. So 30 shovels worth of 15 pans for a little bit. It's proving a point though, the gold is here, so we now just got to find where it's concentrated. That's the key, isn't it? After completing that sluice run, what it told us was a couple of things. The gold had travelled far. We know this was a reefing area because of that newspaper article, which means it should be coarse, chunky gold somewhere around here from any reef that is left over that they didn't work or that they didn't find. So we've come way upstream, I mean way upstream, like 5 kilometres or so, and we started to see some mine working, some terracing, which was good, and now we're hopefully going to find some chunkier gold, some coarser gold. The fun part about rediscovering gold areas, or areas in general, is trying to work out what people have done to it. Josh just said to me that it looks different on the other side of the road to what it does here, where the creek crosses. And I've dug a couple of pans of dirt out of here. I've dug down quite deep. And I've moved a hive of overburden. And I haven't found a single speck of gold or black sand. We took a walk over there, and hard up against the mountain is an old riverbed. It's got river rock in it, and it's not flowing. It hasn't got any water or anything in it, but it's got bits of broken bedrock and river rock. So we're thinking that's the original creek bed over there. And if that's the original one, then the gold should be in that. I started filling the bucket up, and Josh is doing the same thing because we've hit the pay layer. Well, what we hope is the pay layer. You can see the difference in dirt. So you've got this really sort of average garden style dirt, quite dark, quite loose, nothing in it. And we've come down and I've hit this clay layer that's got a lot of river pebble in it, or gravels. Now, why gravel's important? Well, water is probably the number one thing that shifts gold around. Wind and erosion and gravity and whatnot will move it, but not like water. If we're finding river pebbles here, it means that this was a creek, and it was a creek that ran here long enough to erode rocks down into a river pebble shape. So if there is gold here, it'll be in that sort of dirt. We're hoping that we'll get some. We might not, we don't know. We've got to take the buckets back and pan them. So this is the bigger rocks that we were getting out of that bucket, and this is what I dug from my little hole over here in what we think is a diverted creek. So if you see, they are the same. You can definitely see that that sort of rock there looks very similar to that sort of rock there. So they're definitely river rocks. And now we're going to find out if that bucket had anything in it. So in this creek, the one that we think is diverted, I didn't even get black sand when I panned it off. And we're going to hopefully find some heavies and some gold in this one, maybe. There's gold. There is gold. There's only little, it's only micro stuff. I got 2 specks of gold. You're not going to be able to see them, no way. They're just there, tiny little dots. And that means it's the original creek bed. So this has been deviated at some point, which is good news for us because we know where it is. But the bad news is the water's like 150 meters away. Well, that's about it for me today. Josh is going to pan out his bucket of dirt and see if he got any luckier from that creek bed than I did. Thank you very much for watching, guys. I hope you learnt something today. This is all about research. I found a tiny little name on the internet and came to the creek and found gold, which is just absolutely awesome. I can't believe my luck to be able to just do that. And that's why you research. If you do what everyone else does, you're going to get the same results. The guys that you see online who find the nuggets, who find ounces of gold, are the ones who are out there researching, testing different spots, different methods, and different areas. And they're the ones that are going to find the pockets of gold that haven't been touched in a very long time. So I implore you, get on Trove, do your research, you will not regret it. Thanks very much for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, I hope to catch you out here sometime.